Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM23 Lions, episode 152. We're getting pretty close to the end here. In fact, this is the final mountain stage. We still have two punchy stages. We still have a medium mountain stage and a time trial left in this La Vuelta, but it's the final mountain stage, and it's a pretty difficult one because the finishing climb is, well, rather tough. Now, what we were looking at with the front scenario is we've had a hard time formalizing our breakaway group, and it was 13 riders coming together. There was 2 riders further off the back, but instead of letting those 2 riders get away, Peloton chased down those 2 riders. Those 2 riders were meaningless individuals. Now, that's not to say that there wasn't some good, strong guys in the front group, but the moment those 2 were caught, Peloton actually sat up and was like, okay, yeah, no, we have our perfect number. But not everybody was happy and content, and 3 more riders attacked, including Felix Gall and Ulrich. Like, 3 guys that were pretty dang good. This Kokoman was part of that front group that's already starting to disintegrate just a little bit here. So better riders and more riders went away, and we went right back into the same scenario we were in before, which was Gregoire's team keeping it in check and putting the group under some definite duress. 2 minutes to the front group, probably a good thing for me because Wells and other riders in the top 15, 16 are all there, meaning guys that could potentially ruin our day if they were to gain a whole bunch of time. Problem? Well, we've been working really damn hard since the start of the stage, and with 117k left to go, right as we start to turn up, 10k climb, 8.5%, and we're already feeling it. I mean, there's a very good chance that this Peloton is going to disintegrate on the first climb of the day and not wait till the final climb. That's a little bit of a problem for us. Halfway up the climb, and we've already reeled in half of the breakaway with just 8 left at the front and 1 more in between. And what is holding steady as a 2-minute advantage for that shrinking group. Gosh, words are hard to find today. Anyway, the first rider is out the back of the Peloton, and they are, of course, in a whole heap of trouble. Stewart, the rider who is out the back, they are going to lose a ton of time, but the Peloton is holding it together. Otherwise, we are 2k from the top now. I do want to get water for the first time here at the top, and any of these guys that are domestiques are just about hanging on. We're about to pull in another 4 riders from the breakaway here in just a moment, including Bermudez and Healy. And there is Wells. Wells back in the group, and of course he'll end up recovering, and he's just fine where he's been caught. He'll get a chance to get back in position and recover that energy on the descent. So I would imagine that other than being a little worse for wear, a little more tired, that he will be fine. And from the looks of him on that last stage, he was just fine. He seemed to have a +5 on that day and still took a top 5 finish. Good news for me on a day such as this is our draw is essentially neutral. It's 0. Everybody has what was expected of them for their draw today. We're seeing a few more riders attack, including Wells. Wells is, I don't know what his deal is. It's like he wants the KOM, but he's only got 4 points. He's spending almost every day in the break and still somehow is 10th and only 8 minutes down, even though we've only had 1 or 2 days where the breakaway has run. But you can see that Healy again on the attack. And we're down to Navarro and Ortega at the front, who is 18th. So Wells, still one that is a bit worrying. Gap is holding steady at 2 minutes, though, and our recovery is nearly complete. So far, so good. Base of the second climb of the day. Still, Gregoire's team doing the work. He's down to 2 guys left at the front, or at least for the time being, but they are holding the gap steady to the 6-man breakaway, which does include Wells and Ortega. Those are the 2 to watch out for within that group. But that group is quickly breaking apart. Van Gils hoisting Navarro out the back, Healy out the back, and now it really is Ortega and Wells who are left racing off the front. Gap is opening to 2.5 minutes. As long as it doesn't open too much, we're okay, but I do not want to lose riders here. I might commit one to helping with the chase if this thing starts to blow up too much too fast. It's gone out by a minute. Not pushing with any intensity. Let's see, who's our weakest domestique? Banuna, go do some relay. Samuels, we want to keep protected though. We do not need to have Banuna keeping the gap steady. The front two have split up. Wells has been dropped. Ortega, less worrying. He's 18 minutes down where you have 8 minutes to Wells. So Wells is not someone. There's Kugelman again on the attack. And we split the peloton down to 65 at the top there with that little push. Gap down to 3 minutes. Let's go back and deal with being a teammate. Let's also go deal with getting water. So Banuna. Oh, the peloton's at 22. What? That's not going to stay like that though. Way too much flat area. Yeah, it's back up to 56 already. Now Ortega alone off the front. Wells has been caught. We are at mostly full strength. And remember, we're late enough in this race that a lot of riders with weaker recovery ratings, even though we're at full strength, green bar wise, we're definitely not. And some of the guys are feeling it. Like Henok is feeling it a lot more than some of the others. Freshness is lower. And here we go. The race, outside of a few kilometers, is tough the rest of the way. Already 6%, even though we're not officially on the climb. We are going to have to increase effort, especially as we begin the climb here. Set of 79. Got to hold position, particularly when you have a small group. You can go out the back real fast with a sudden acceleration. Officially on the climb now. We've caught Ortega. We have 7K, 6%, and then a short recovery, meaning you're not going to recover that much. And Jumbo-Visma has taken over and are making things rather tough. One rider out the back. Alonso, I was kind of hoping it would be Wells, and Ortega for that matter. But we approach the top of this one. Still in position. I'm going to back off just a little bit at the top here. One more rider drop. Ortega out the back. So the 18th place rider has gone too deep, and he is set to start losing more and more time. We've seen a split. 10 riders out the back. Kemp, Herman, Van Eetveld, Zimmerman, Buitrago. I don't think any of them were high placed. Buitrago is 19th. He's the only one inside the top 20. Kemp is 16th. So we have lost 2 guys in the teens as we get down to the last 43. And we're at the base of the last big climb of this race. Monetero, 15K, 9.7%. It's going to ramp up gradually for the first couple of K, but then it's going to get steep. It'll back off a little bit, but actually the first section is probably the hardest, but it never really gets easy. It flattens out just a little bit in the middle, and this is how the team's looking. Arab is fantastic at this point, but Ashimwe, Matoni, Samuels, all feeling it just a little bit here at the base of the climb. And then the 4 domestiques for all of them are relatively tired. Enough so that I'm going to go ahead and use the 4 domestiques gels now. Help them last as long as they can to do their support rides for our 4 guys, who we will prepare to put our foot down and ride a little bit harder. The 10 behind are slowly drifting back, so they are falling further back. That's good. Okay, up to a 78. Don't like how we're drifting a little bit. Comes an acceleration. Movistar trying to come forward. We've got about 4 teams contributing at the front, which is good. It means we're setting a tough enough tempo that it is doing that damage. You can see that group behind, those 10 riders. It's gone out by nearly a minute in just a couple kilometers. We're at 12K left on the climb. Shimway. Do not like how far back you are drifting. Let's push a little harder. And we will go in order, especially when all 4 of our leaders have the +5, which was expected. Arab even had a +6 on paper. Shimway still struggling and going backwards. We are starting to drop riders, though. And there goes our first, Habtum, out the back. Clean. Einering, 21st overall, out the back, and that's Jumbo Visma. I think he was one of the riders riding at the front. Romeo, out the back. Storm, out the back. That's Jumbo Visma's other rider that was being used. Here goes Isaacs. Down to 36. Shimway hanging on, but we need to now reassess. We've dropped 2 riders here, and Samuels is also struggling to hold position anyway. He still has Hinoke to protect him, so we're okay there. Arab is now solo. Tony is 20th. So Matoni, take over, protect your leader. His position is not in jeopardy. Hinoke is protecting Samuels. So a Shimway will ride solo. I want a Shimway to follow Arab. Oh! Here we go. 6 riders attacking. And that includes leaders, which means there's not going to be a follow. I doubt there's going to be a response. It's all top 10 guys. 9.8K is not how long I wanted this to be happening, but it's going to happen now. We're going to take control, and we will go in that order of position. Yeah, that's an 82, that's an 82, that's an 81. So I think Matoni actually is going to go there. Hinoke, Benuda. Okay, Benuda is well positioned, so time to respond. Davida, Sicardi trying to go with. Hinoke helping pull us out there, but we're going to get him out of the order here in a moment. There you go. So Matoni's going to pull that gap. Benuda's out of energy. Matoni is currently at the front with the others still trying to get into position. But we're only at 9K. Like, we have not bridged this gap at all yet. And it's down to just 3? Yes. Okay, so the group has shrunk already. We caught a few of these guys. So it's Rodriguez, Pellizzari, Gregoire. Pellizzari, a worrying one for us. We don't want to be losing ground on him. The other 2 are less of a concern. But Petrovic and Vingegaard also off the front. So Vingegaard, much better race day condition than what he had the other day. Don't want to use up Matoni yet, but we're going to use up Matoni because circumstances. Where the heck is Samuels? Oh, they're behind Hinoke. Alright, we cannot go 85 for long. This has got to be a set your tempo and do what we can. So Arab was right behind Matoni. He dropped 10 bike lengths to let Samuels in. That's not how that's supposed to work. That is very much not how that's supposed to work. Backing off. There's the Shimway, Samuels, and Arab finally. And now the group really starts to disintegrate. We'll check in on who we've dropped. Going back a little bit further. Alright, so Vlasov. Let's see. I think we're about far enough back now, seeing what we've got. No contenders yet, but there's Davida, 8th place. 8th place, Davida, out the back and struggling. Gonzoli's with him. There's now 18 here. You've got a few guys at the back, including Paulus, that are in danger. Sicardi in 11th. Bernal is 25th, and there's about to be a split, it looks like. No. Yes, a few more guys just got dropped. And there's only 3 left off the front. It's a minute and a half to those 3 already. Jeez, how did they set that kind of tempo? Okay, I wanted a Shimway to go first. I'm going to switch them here in a second. We're down to 10. Dropped a few more guys. And we're coming up quick on those front 3. You know what? I'm going to keep a Shimway as a buffer for now. And we've caught the front 3. We're going to get another attack by Pellizzari, I think that is. Yes. And a Shimway is toast. Samuel's gel. There goes Gregoire again. It's also down to 8 riders. And we absorbed 1 rider, so that means we dropped a few more riders. And a Shimway has gone out the back. Alright, let's check in again. Here, we've dropped Ayuso. I think that's where we come into... Yeah, no, even further back. Holy cow. Okay. There. This is where we left off. There's DeVita. There's Pigazzoli. There's Benuna. They have 4.5K to go. Rubio, Sicardi in 11th. Mihuljevic, Simmerman. We're at 4.3 now with Bernal, who sits 25th. Paulus is 13th, 4.2. Vingegaard is 9th, 4.2. Ayuso, 3.9 now, so we're inside 4K left. He is 12th. Wells is 10th. Almeida is 2nd overall. Here is a Shimway who just dropped off, 17th overall at 3.8, with Gall, 14th overall. And now we're at Ulrich, who attacked recently. Petrovic, who's 4th. Rodriguez, who's 3rd. Those guys were off the front. We caught up to them. And it's our 3 guys. Led by Matoni, who's about to run out of energy. And Samuels, who's about to run out of energy. But Arab does have a gel to burn. Let's start that first. And then he will be able to ride solo. But he can't ride crazy tempo. But ahead of him is only 2 riders in Gregoire and Pellizzari, who have just attacked again. Pellizzari, I certainly don't want picking up time. That's somebody we are targeting, and I think we're just a few seconds behind. 5:18. Yeah, 5:32, and we have a huge advantage in the time trial against him. So I want to stay with him today. So catching Pellizzari is going to be important here in these last 3.5 kilometers that we're down to. Samuels, you know what? It's time. We're going to go like this, and Arab. Tony's going to try to protect and help Samuels. Alright, they've already dropped 1 in Ulrich. Now they drop Petrovic, who's 4th overall. Rodriguez is staying with Arab, and Arab is catching the front 2, which when we get there, there's still 2.5K to go, so we're going to sit. Gregoire's got to do the work. Here goes Pellizzari attacking yet again. Oh, come on. I didn't get dropped. It wasn't an attack, was it? It was. Didn't look like an attack. 2K. What's Rodriguez gonna do? Okay, Rodriguez. There we go. Following Rodriguez for a little bit. 1.9. And we did not lose significant ground on these guys. So this is a good opportunity to follow. Pellizzari again attacking as we catch them. 1K. Back here is Matoni and Samuels. Minute 45 behind, but we're only losing ground on 4 guys. And Samuels is like just hanging in there. Back together yet again. Arab only has a little bit of energy left, so that's why we're riding super cautious here. Rodriguez, Gregoire. Pellizzari is the only one who looks strong. Pellizzari is not shaking in his... He's not bobbing side to side like the others. 300 meters. 300 meters. Arab trying to push for a top 3. Gregoire is going to get dropped. We are going to get 3rd on the stage. Final sprint. Pellizzari is going to win the stage, gain 10 seconds and a few seconds over me, but that's okay. 3rd place on the stage for Arab. Great result. Now, 500 meters here is going to come down to a little push with Matoni giving what he can and Samuels making his final bid to get as much time as possible. It was 40 seconds to Gregoire. For Samuels, this is good for the GC. For Matoni, this is fantastic. He's going to gain a lot of time. And Shimway is right there too. He's also going to gain significant time. This is already 3 minutes, guys. This was a major climb. And there's big gaps. 3.5 minutes to a Shimway. 3.5 already. Here's Benuna and Hanoke are not that much further behind either, but they've got nothing left in the tank. So, and only 13 riders have crossed line. Wells was still 13th. Palace. Vingegaard was 15th. We're looking at 6 minutes right now. 6 minutes already. Massive time gaps. There's going to be some huge time losses. And we are on the right side of all of this today. No, it's not a stage win, but I mean, come on. Sammy Arab, 3rd place. Samuel, 6th. A Shimway, 12th. Like, fantastic result. And Matoni, 7th, right? All 4 of them very well placed today. Really good result for us on a stage that really mattered. Hour mark, cutoff's hour 7, and there's still a lot of riders coming towards the finish. That last group came in seconds before elimination. Arab 14 seconds down. Didn't think he was that far, but okay. 2:19 to Samuels, 2:36 to Matoni, 3:36 to Ishimwe. But Vingegaard, who looked like he was about to go off and finish in the top 3, ends up 5 minutes down. That's how much time shifted in that last few kilometers of that stage. Benuna was 7:24 and well placed. New look at the GC standings. Gregoire, of course, leads, even though he did lose some time on this one. Rodriguez up 1 spot, a minute 50 down in 2nd place. Petrovic up 1 spot, 4:23 down. Pellizzari 4:34 and Almeida 4:41, dropping 3 spots off the podium. Samuels is 5:06 down and Arab is 5:08. After all of this, those two are on almost identical time, and we have our 6th. We are 1 spot out of a top 5, but importantly here, we're now talking about less than a minute to the podium. Less than a minute to the podium. Almeida is a heck of a time trialer, though. He's a favorite. Pellizzari is somebody we can beat. And while he gained a few seconds today, we are absolutely in touching distance. Half a minute is easy to overcome with the time trial. Petrovic, also pretty weak. So right now, I'd say 4th is 100% in the cards. Podium, though, might be a little too far out of reach. Like Rodriguez, you're going to gain a tiny amount of time on, but certainly not enough when you're over 3 minutes down. And Gregoire, he's also good enough and has shown vulnerability on literally 1 stage in this entire race where he lost a few seconds. So unless Almeida has a bad day on the time trial, the podium looks unreachable, but the top 5 absolutely looks like something we can accomplish. Now, the problem with Samuels is he is like the worst time trial. Well, Pellizzari is only... You never know. Maybe, just maybe, he can beat Pellizzari, but it's looking likely that he's not going to beat any of those guys ahead of him. You got to fear going backwards. But the great news now, 5:08 for Arab. We are at the back end of a group of 5 riders, and then we have a 6-minute gap to Lucas Wells, who's now 8th place, ahead of Vingegaard. Vingegaard absolutely is a time trialist who's a threat to Samuels. But DeVita's not. Wells is not. Ayuso is, but he's 14:27 down. I fear we're going to lose 5 minutes, but that's a 10-minute gap. Vingegaard at 6 minutes is still a danger to us. Yeah, 2 guys in the top 10 is assured at this point, and I think Arab is 100% without a doubt in a strong position to get a top 5 for this race. Ishimwe up 2 spots to 15th. Matoni up 4 spots to 16th. They've got a healthy gap, though, between them and the guys ahead of them, and only Kemp is much of a threat behind them. So we're looking pretty good for 4 riders in the top 16 for this race, which is just crazy to think that we could pull that off. Points, Gregoire leads from Germay, and there's no sprint stages left. There's 0 sprint stages left, so Gregoire could end up winning the points jersey over Benyam Germay. In the mountain classification, it's Nielsen Paulus. In the young riders, it is Sammy Arab by 7:45. Now Davida lost a ton of time today and is out of that picture. Sicardi also lost a ton of time today, or a large amount of time today anyway. And Matoni up 1 spot to 4th. I think we're going to win the under 25s. That's big. And the team classification, oh yeah, 20-minute advantage. We have worked very well as a team, as a unit, to support our leaders and that strategy early on, that time gains that we made was phenomenal. Bad race day condition for each of those 2 key guys that gained that time eventually cost them that time. Samuels, his big time loss, remember he was only seconds behind Gregoire. His big time loss came on a -2 or a -3 race day condition, where it was a -5 draw on that particular day. That was before his fitness peak kicked in, and he lost a majority of his time at that point. At least a few minutes anyway came from that one day. He would be 2 minutes down right now. He would be on the podium in 3rd place, theoretically, with 2 guys behind him who are not good time trialists, who would have gained a little time, but they wouldn't have gained significant time. Almeida would have been a threat, would have been a worry, but Samuels could have been in position for a 3rd or 4th. With Arab in position for a 3rd or 4th, that would be a different race if he didn't have such a bad, terrible draw that one day. And Matoni's another one, right? If he didn't have a couple really bad draw days, he lost 10, 15 minutes on one day, right? Maybe 12. He'd be 10 minutes down. He would be in 8th place if he was 10 minutes down, right? If we subtract 12 minutes, I think that's what he roughly lost on his day, where he had the same sort of rating that Samuels had, where he had essentially a -5 draw one day. That's significant time losses, all because of a bad draw. Stage 19 is a day seen as a day for the breakaway, and so far it's proving to be true. 4 riders chasing, but ultimately 22 off the front. I have Benuna and Hanouk in the group off the front, and none of the 22 riders are well placed in GC. In fact, Hanouk at 30th is the highest rated rider there. Hanouk protected by Benuna. I'm not contributing because I don't necessarily want the breakaway to succeed, but if it is going to succeed, I want to give ourselves a chance. The day classified as punchy, kind of is a sprint day. Most of the climbing is already behind us and at the beginning of the stage, but with a 5.5 minute advantage, I would imagine there's a good chance that this breakaway is going to be claiming the stage. Hanouk 62.78 as a sprinter, 67.73 for Benuna today. I'm really glad that today is the day where we got the weaker draws than a day like yesterday, because I expect that there's not going to be any changes in the GC whatsoever. It's going to be a pretty easy day to get through there. We're out to a near 9-minute advantage. Guaranteed stage win for the breakaway, which is down to 21 riders. Still haven't contributed at all. And with the size of the group, we're pretty fresh, Hanouk and Benuna. And I think this little climb right here is likely to split this group. And so I want to try to make sure that it does. I'm going to get Benuna to go forward and have Hanouk follow him, and then I'm going to use a small attack trying to send both and see if we can split this group on this climb. And now's the time to do that. So we're going to attack pretty hard to see if we can divide up the group at all. We can't go solo from here. It's got to be small group kind of scenario. Karchenko is the one who went with us. Karchenko does not look great, but he does have a good flat rating and has stamina. And if we can pull out enough of a gap, maybe, just maybe, the 3 of us can contribute to go well. I'd love to see him actually, offer something in contribution with this. Buitrago attacking here. Let's up the effort. These guys are on this last climb. That's Ulrich. That's Buitrago, 22nd overall. Let's keep an eye on that. I definitely don't want him going anywhere and doing anything. Garchenko not contributing. We've opened it to 40 seconds. Now's the time to recover. Let's get the heart rate down. Okay, here comes the nice organized chase. Just 20 seconds here now. But down to 10K. But none of the 18 have been dropped, and the best chance is to stay away, but at 13 seconds it's just not going to happen. I'm going to sit up, start to recover a little bit here, and Benuna needs to protect Hanouk. Alright, it's fun while it lasted. We do drop one rider. No, we just have 20 to 21 left. Ulrich, last rider off the front. Comes the next attack. 14K. So Aeon looking a little stronger. So we're gonna switch it up because, why not? Back here, 10K to go. Let's get guys like Hatem and Isaacs to gel up. Okay, Hanouk, 2.5K. Time to really start riding forward here. I'll cut through this. Hanouk sprinting, leading out, and Benuna. We're just not strong enough to contend with the group. Benuna's in the mix. As the red bar runs out, he's fading a little bit. Otherwise, he had a chance for third. And that is 8th for Benuna. Hanouk hasn't even reached the finish line yet, but they are gaining time at least. They're 9 minutes ahead of the peloton. 9 minutes gained for those two. That's definitely worth some positions, and they are possibly high enough to get into the points, the last little points going on for this race. All right, 7.5K. Samuel sprinting, coming out. Arab sprinting. Are we going to get a little separation here? No. 8:15 down. We won the sprint. Nobody seemed to care much about it. Love to see a random separation there, even if just a few seconds worth. No separation. 8:11 the gap. Everybody on 8:11. So 0 change in the GC. What about for our two guys? And yes, they have absolutely moved up. Hanouk up 3 spots to 27th. Benuna up 6 spots to 29th. And Hanouk now in the mix for all these half-hour guys. He could crack the top 20 potential. Oh, he's not a time trialist. Benuna is the better one. Benuna is a little bit further behind, a little too far back to make much of a difference. Oh, so close to that working out. Stage 21 is the time trial. Stage 20 is another medium mountain stage. That's what we're down to. We're down to just 20 and 21. So we have a medium mountain and a time trial remaining. Not as many chances to see things change. And the big mountain stages are done and behind us, and I think that just went ridiculously well for us, these two stages. Super happy with the outcome on those. The podium feels a hair too far off, 4th or 5th. 100%. I think we're finally going to crack that top 5. Hopefully. Not guaranteed. But that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.